Word on the street. Obviously, lots of people buzzing this morning.
Of course, and you know we're going to take word on the street to Southern Europe. Buy it, sell it, or sit on the sidelines. That is today's word on the street. The Cyprus rescue isn't exactly a no-brainer for investors. Every time the EU has crafted one of their half-baked 11th-hour deals, well, the market has had the same reaction. Immediate rally, 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 followed by a sell-off based on fundamentals. The hole in the rescue plans were different every time, but the investors who bought into the market, they did it because they were desperate to believe. And as we watch investors take a breath and digest it all, tactical traders are scratching their heads, asking, how long can we hang on? So yes, we did get a deal, but history has shown the only sustainable rallies have really come from involvement from the ECB, the European Central Bank. Now, last night, market sentiment was simply, Cyprus stays in the euro and we stay in the market. But today, well, we've done a little bit of homework, and this banking crisis could turn into a full-scale property disaster in Cyprus as banks won't lend and could be forced to sell loans. And you've got to factor in whatever economic activity was secondary to banking. Think leisure, retail, overall consumer world, and you have got a country in collapse, a crisis worse than its neighbor Greece. So we buy on a rescue, we sell on fundamentals, or, I don't know, maybe we just pack it in and head to Daytona for spring break. That, Scarlet Fu, is today's word on the street.
You got to wonder what the Russians are going to do, especially because if they're locked out and they're going to take losses on their deposits, do they continue coming in? Do they even trust any of the system? I mean, what's to come of them?
It's going to be extraordinary because, as we mentioned just before, the relationship between Russia and Cyprus has been a very strong banking relationship for years. Now that you take that out of the system because that confidence is lost, how is Cyprus going to rebuild it? This is a bailout, but a bailout for how long? Is it sustainable?
Is it sustainable? And that's an interesting point you bring up here, because when you look at how the markets are reacting, you called it rally, rally, rally. It's certainly the case in U.S. equities this morning. The S&P getting within less than a point of its record high. The Dow Industrial is also positive for now. But take a look at what happened with the euro. It did get a pop initially on the Cyprus bailout, but then no follow through. And in fact, it's at its lowest of the session. It was at a one-week high, no longer. Citigroup FX just putting out a note saying a Cypriot lawmaker made some comments that Cyprus still needs to consider a euro exit. So we've got this bailout agreed to. The details are still being worked out, and people are still not happy.
Well, it's a day when people are buying the market right now because we got positive news last night. But long term, as we go through all these iterations, it might not be positive.